Welcome to Old Celtic Tales by E M Wilmot-Buxton. Please like, share, and follow us.
The impossible tasks set by Thornogre Thistlehair. The 7 champions now determined to make their way to the castle and force an entrance to the hall of Thornogre Thistlehair, chief of the giants. It was very dark when they set out, but they easily found their way by the trail of white trefoils which the footprints of Alwyn had left. The castle was guarded by 9 warders at the gate and 9 watchdogs along the road which led up to it. But a strange silence had fallen upon both men and beasts, and the champions slew them all without a sound being heard. Then they passed through the great door and entered the hall of the castle. Just opposite the entrance sat Thornogre Thistlehair upon a high, wide throne. He was terrible to look upon. His eyebrows were so long and bushy that they fell over his eyes like a curtain, and he was taller and broader than 3 other giants put together. Close by his hand lay 3 poisoned darts. After they had greeted him courteously, he asked who they were, and they replied that they were come from Arthur's court to ask that Olwen, his daughter, should marry Kilhugh the prince. Then the giant roared for his pages to come and prop up his eyebrows, that he might see what sort of son-in-law was proposed for him. So, when they had propped up his eyebrows, he looked angrily at Kilhugh, and bade him come the next day for his answer. But as they went out of the hall, the giant threw one of his poisoned darts at them. Sir Bedivere caught it just in time, and threw it back so neatly that it caught the giant in the knee. Then they laughed and withdrew, leaving him to storm at them, declaring that the great wound hurt him as much as the sting of a gadfly, and that he might never be able to walk quite so well again. At dawn the next day, they returned to the castle, and again demanded the hand of fair Alwyn in marriage. But the giant replied, "I can do naught in this matter till I have consulted her 4 great-grandmothers and her 4 great-grandfathers. Come again for my answer." So they turned to leave the hall, but as they went, the giant snatched up the second of his poisoned darts and flung it after them. Merlin caught it deftly, however, and threw it back with such force that it entered his chest and stuck out through his back. This left him grumbling that never again would he be able to climb a hill without losing breath, and fearing lest he now might sometimes suffer from pains in the chest. The 3rd time they visited the giant he was on his guard, and shouted to them not to dare throw any more darts on pain of death. Then he roared to his pages to lift up his eyebrows, and when they had done it, he snatched up the 3rd poisoned dart and flung it at them without more ado. But Kilhugh caught it this time and cast it back at him, so that it pierced one of his eyes. Then, while he grumbled that now his sight would not be so good as before, they went out to dine. These events made the giant treat his visitors on their next arrival with more civility. Besides, he had no more poisoned darts. He once more inquired why they had come, and when he realized that Kilhugh was determined to marry Alwyn, he made him promise that he would do all that he required of him in return for his agreement to the marriage. Kilhugh, mindful of Alwyn's warning that he was to agree to perform whatever her father proposed, gave a ready promise and bade him ask away. Then did Thornogre Thistlehair propound to him 40 impossible things, of which these 7 are the chief. Firstly, he must gather 9 bushels of flax sown hundreds of years ago in a field of red earth, of which never a seed had sprouted. Not 1 grain of the measure must be missing, and they must be sown again in a freshly plowed field to make flax for Alwyn's wedding veil. Secondly, he must find Mabon, the son of Modron, who was stolen from his mother when 3 days old and had not since been heard of. Thirdly, he must find the cauldron of Cruisward, the cauldron keeper, in which, if one tries to cook food for a coward, one may wait forever for the water to boil. But if for a brave man the meal is ready directly, it is placed therein. In this cauldron must all the food for the wedding feast be prepared. Fourthly, since the giant must shave for the wedding, he must obtain for a razor the tusk of the boar-headed branch-breaker, which, to be of any use, must be taken from his skull while he yet lived. Fifthly, since the giant must wash his hair, all matted together as it was, for the wedding, he must bring to him the charmed balsam kept by the jet-black sorceress, daughter of the snow-white sorceress from the source of the Brook of Sorrow, at the edge of the twilight land. Sixthly, that the giant's hair might be smoothed and combed, he must bring the scissors and the comb that are found between the ears of Bursting Boar, the wide waster, since they alone would perform the operation without breaking. Seventhly, he must obtain the sword of Garnard the giant, since that alone would kill the wide waster, from whom, unless he were killed, the comb and scissors could never be obtained. When he had made an end of speaking, the giant jeered at the prince, who, unless he could do all these impossible things, might never wed his daughter. But Kilhugh answered with a high heart, "I have knights for my companions, horses and hounds, and Arthur is my kinsman. I shall do all that thou requirest, thou wicked giant, and shall win thy daughter, but thou shalt lose thy life." That's the end of this story, brought to you by Schaefer Media Enterprises. Please check back for more exciting stories.
The Ultimate Question is a fully acted and produced audio fantasy story. When a young boy is found on a battlefield, it sets into motion a series of events that will have potentially catastrophic results unless that young boy, now a young man, can solve the puzzle that his mentor left him before he died. The Ultimate Question is available wherever you find podcasts and audiobooks. Visit uqstory.com for more information.
Independent short films are a welcome change from corporate entertainment. These films often press the boundaries of filmmaking, giving you a visual and intellectual experience that you can't get in mainstream stuff. The best place to find short independent films is Appealing TV, available on Roku and Amazon Fire. Find out more at appealingtv.com.
Please visit SchaeferMediaEnterprises.com for more of our projects and services.